Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone, good morning all of you. This is Ashima and you're watching us on Entri channel. So in this video we're going to talk about the daily news events, and the news events which we're going to talk about are going to be more in the descriptive format. Descriptive being that we are not going to focus on any particular level of questions. We are more looking out at the news event so that it benefits all the examination aspirants, right? So with that perspective, let's begin the news events. The first one being India Climate Change Knowledge Portal. Now, this knowledge portal has been created with the idea that whatever the progress of India is in terms of climate change steps that we are taking. So whatever steps we are taking with respect to climate change, India's progress will be available on this portal so that people can have a follow-up on it, that whatever the steps are being taken on national as well as international level, right? So it was inaugurated by the Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, that being Shri Prakash Javadekar sir, and India has already achieved its pre-2020 climate action targets, and it is only G20 country that is on the track of 15 Paris Agreement. 2015 Paris Agreement is there, which is signed for keeping the global temperature and the climate change level at a particular level, right? So to meet that level, there are certain steps that need to be taken, and India is the only G20 country that is on the track to meet this agreement requirements, right? Now, what is inside 2015 Paris Agreement? First thing is that in the pre-industrial level, till the year 2100, the idea initially was to keep it within 1.5 degrees centigrade, but now it is 2 degrees centigrade, right? The 2C target is there, that is keeping the global average temperature within the 2 degrees Celsius. And that should be with comparison to the pre-industrial level. So whatever the global average temperature was for the pre-industrial level, for that maximum increase that we can afford is 2 degrees centigrade, still 2100, and that is the idea of 2015 Paris Agreement right over here, right? Now, apart from that, this portal which has been created, it will have multiple profiles that are going to be looked up to. Majorly 8 components are going to be there. So if you look at the components, there are going to be 8 components of this portal, right? So what are the components? That being the National Policy Framework, NDC goals of India, and bilateral and multilateral cooperations, reports whichever are released in the terms of climate change and publication, mitigation actions, international climate negotiations, all of them are going to be having a track on it, right? If we talk about national determined contributions, the NDC of India, if we talk about NDC of India, if we have a look at that, the idea is basically 3 national determined contributions which are required. One is reduce the emissions about 1/3 by 2030, achieve 40% installed capacity of electricity from non-fossil fuels. Non-fossil fuels being renewable energy. So 40% of the electricity should be attained from renewable energy sources. And the third being that achieving the additional carbon sink of 2.5 billion to 3 billion tons. Right, so carbon dioxide of approximately 2.5 billion to 3 billion tons should have a sink, that is where we can dispose that off, or we can have approximately that many plants to cover the amount of carbon that we are talking about. So a forest tree cover, or you can say forest cover by 2030 should be created that can absorb approximately 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide. This is NDC of India, National Development, so nationally determined contributions of India, right? Moving ahead with brain fingerprinting. Now, brain fingerprinting is in news because of the rape case of Hathras, UP. So we have a rape case of Hathras, UP. Over there, the brain fingerprinting is going to be conducted. Now, what exactly is brain fingerprinting and what goes into that? First of all, what is brain fingerprinting? So brain electrical oscillation signature, or brain fingerprinting, is a neuropsychological method which is used to interrogate an accused in the crime by studying his or her brain responses. So studying the brain responses of a particular person and determining the interrogation based on that is brain electrical oscillation. So CBI, so basically when you're studying the electrical oscillations of brain to understand the idea of people, just like we have the lie detection machine, like this we have a lie detection machine. In lie detection machine, what happens is that the blood pressure is measured, which characterily determines whether the person is lying or is saying the truth, right? So on the similar basis, this is there which measures the brain movements, brain electrical movements. So what is this process called of brain mapping is electroencephalogram. Electroencephalogram is the process via which this whole thing takes place. The test is carried out via this electroencephalogram process, right? And for whom is it going to happen? It is for the Hathras in UP, the Hathras case, right? So this is important for that perspective, right? Next, climate emergency to be declared by New Zealand soon enough. So in coming time, New Zealand is going to declare a climate emergency. So what exactly is happening in New Zealand? First of all, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, that being Jacinda Ardern. And the idea is that Zero Carbon Act has been passed by the Parliament of New Zealand recently, which will reduce to the carbon emissions to zero by 2050. So the target is that by 2050, the amount of carbon emission should be reduced to zero, right? If this bill is passed, this bill has been introduced in the parliament. If this bill is passed, making of any policy will require the idea that climate emergence, climate is also taken into consideration. That is, the first point of debate is going to be whether it is good for the climate or not, and the second step is going to be that whether it's good for the people or not. Right. So first thing will be of climate. If this climate emergency act is passed by the parliament as well, this motion is passed by the parliament as well. Now, if we talk about the Zero Carbon Act, this act was of 2019, and according to this, the target was set for 2050. Right. Now, in other parts of the world, what is happening regarding the climate emergency? So recently, it was Japanese lawmakers, or you can say Japan, which had done the climate emergency, declared climate emergency recently. And apart from that, it is going to join France, Canada, and Britain, who have also declared such steps or taken significant steps in climate change. And climate emergency currently is in Portugal, France, Canada, and UK. These are the 4 countries which already have climate emergency declared in them. Now, if we talk about France, France is going to ban all heating terraces by 2021. And 2 new regional national parks are going to be constructed, and 30% of land surface in France, 30% of land surface is going to be booked for plantation purpose only. That is forestation cover only. No development process will take place in that 30% of the land. Right. Then in UK, the greenhouse emissions are going to be reduced by 50% approximately by 2025, and the comparison is with 1990. So in UK, as compared to 1990, if we compare 2025, the emissions are going to reduce by 50%. Right. Apart from that, we have Canada. Now in Canada, the emissions are going to be reduced, and methane regulations are being adopted. That is alternative source of you can say energy that is being used is methane in Canada, and clean electricity is being used. Clean electricity being renewable form of electricity, right? And the low carbon economy fund has been established by Canada to create jobs for reducing the energy bills. So reducing energy bills, clean growth, supporting an innovation and creation of jobs. This is the purpose of low carbon economy fund, which has been created by Canada. Right, so that being an important part. Then we have a Shahdut Dam. Now, the Shahdut Dam is being built by India across Maidan River in Afghanistan. So, river Kabul's tributary is Maidan River. Over Maidan River, India is going to build the Shahdut Dam, and this dam is going to be built in Afghanistan. Who has announced it? It was announced by the External Affairs Minister of India, Shri S. Jaishankar. Now, is this the first dam of India? No. In 2016, in Afghanistan, India had funded the Salma Dam across Hari River, which is in Herat province. So this dam or Salma Dam is also known as India-Afghanistan Friendship Dam. It is very important to know which dam is known as Afghan-India Friendship Dam. Now, India has also pledged to rebuild the. Before we move ahead, when we were talking about United States and Afghanistan issue, that being that United States is going to withdraw the NATO forces from Afghanistan and let Taliban also take back steps and make it more or less of terrorism. So as India is an ally of United States, India was also asked to employ military services at the time when United States was doing it. But India had refused, and India had planned that India is going to help in building Afghanistan rather than putting in military support. So India as of now has announced 80 million US dollars worth projects, and these projects being 150 projects. So 150 projects whose worth is estimated to be about 80 million US dollars has been announced by India in Afghanistan. So that means India is helping Afghanistan grow as of now, right? 11th National Organ Donation Day was observed on 27th of November. Then India's second quarter GDP has contracted by 7.5% as compared to 23.9% in first quarter of the current fiscal. In first quarter, in the first quarter of the fiscal year of currently going on, at that time the contraction or the GDP was minus 23.9%, but now it has become minus 7.5%. So we have comparatively improved. India and United States have extended the Indo-US Civil Nuclear Energy Agreement for the upcoming 10 years. And this agreement is also known as 123 agreement. So it's important to know the other name of India-US Civil Nuclear Energy Agreement, that is 123 agreement. And the extension of the agreement was signed at Global Center for Nuclear Energy Partnership. So the possible question is which agreement is known as 123 agreement, and for how many years has it been extended, and it is between which two countries? It is between India and US, and it is a nuclear energy agreement, right? Next, Supreme Court has directed Government of India to ensure all the steps are taken to implement the decision to forego the interests on 8 specified categories of loans. Government of India had announced at the time of COVID that certain interests are going to be let go of. That is, they are going to let go those interests on basically 8 specified categories as they had decided. So Supreme Court of India has said that on these 8 categories, that being MSMEs, education, housing, consumer durable, credit card, automobile, personal, and consumption. These are the 8 categories in which this loan was supposedly going to be there. And Supreme Court has said that they must decide the steps now, that what steps are going to be taken to let it go on a better scale. And the loan which is going to be let go is approximately valued at 2 crore rupees as of now. Right now, Singapore was the largest source of FDI in India during the period of during this year, with the investment of 8.3 billion US dollars. So this is a possible question, especially for banking examinations. This Supreme Court decision is important. Basically, the 8 categories and all are important. Then Singapore being the largest source of FDI is important because this is a direct question that comes in. That is, which country was the largest source of FDI in India? Then IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, has given in principle approval for the merger of Bharti AXA General and ICICI Lombard. Again, an insurance question and a banking question. Direct question: with whom has the merger of Bharti AXA General happened? So it has happened with ICICI Lombard. So that being an important point for examination perspective as well. Next, James Wolfenson, who is ex-president of World Bank from 1995 to 2005, he has died recently. And Sudan's former Prime Minister Sadiq Al-Mahdi, he also died recently. Right? Then IATA, International Air Transport Association, recently has announced that Shanghai is the world's most connected city in the world. It's world's most connected city. And along with that, there are three other cities being Beijing, Chengdu, and Guangzhou having the most connectivity. Most connectivity in the perspective that it has a good connection, air connection with all the cities in the world. That is, flights for many cities rise from this place. So from Shanghai, there are many flights that happen to many parts of the world, making it the most connected because this gives connectivity to the world as well, right? So with this, we'll be winding up the segment of today. Today's segment ends here. So all of you, all those who want to prepare for questions also, for all of them, we have a quiz that happens every day on on our app, being Entri app. So you can download the Entri app from Google Play Store, or you can find the link in the below video, and you can download the app. Over there you'll find the quizzes segment. Over there in the quiz you can find the current affairs quiz, which is every day 10 to 15 questions with 10 to 15 minutes to answer the question depending on the number of questions, and you can get your assessment and you can keep in touch. It's a hardly 10-minute quiz, doesn't take much of your time, but it gives you a touch up of things, right? So you can download this